Fox Sports.
We are Blackmore. We are Florida.
After a series win in New York, Miami is back home, but not for long. A three-gamer with the Cubs starts tonight. The Cubs, one of the more exciting teams in Major League Baseball. Christian Yelich, hey, Chris Coghlan is back in town, and a former Cub farmhand, Justin Bour, will go after the Cubs. Yeah, Chris Bryant has been tearing it up. Jose Urena has his hands full. It's Marlins and Cubs. Hi, everybody. Rich Waltz along with Tommy Hutton. Marlins needed a spark. They got it in New York. Now traction a little bit. They won that series. So, Tommy, if they can parlay that into some good baseball here this series, obviously everyone in a Marlin uniform will be happy about it.
Like to do that, and certainly with the Cubs in town, there's always a little bit of excitement. I think the amazing thing about the Chicago Cubs and Miami Marlins, over their years of playing each other, they're 86 and 86.
And they share a lot of guys in common. You saw Chris Coghlan, the former Marlin. Now, most Cub fans, and probably anyone in the dugout, won't remember Justin Bour as a Cub. He never got to the big leagues. The Marlins took him in the minor league Rule 5 draft out of the Cubs organization. Boy, has he sparkled these last 3 weeks.
You know, he wasn't a high draft pick, a 25th round pick of the Cubs, but he has hit some big home runs. How about that one in Pittsburgh against Garrett Cole? Think about the guys he's homered off of. Then he decided to take Matt Harvey yard. He did that at Citi Field against the Mets. Bartolo Colon, the 42-year-old, he took him deep. His other home run was against Jordan Zimmerman. And remember, he broke up a no-hitter of Shelby Miller. So he has gotten big hits on a 3-game streak, and I'm sure he'd like to do a little extra against his former organization.
The Cubs are a dangerous team, dangerous offensively, and the issue is they aren't going anywhere because their danger lies in young bats, and we start with Parkland's Anthony Rizzo.
Just 25 years old. You'll find his name in the top 10 of most offensive categories. Chris Bryant, it'll be our first look at Bryant. He's just 23, the power-hitting, right-handed third baseman. And then the Cuban Jorge Soler, a dynamic player, has got a strong arm in right field. So the Cubs have some young talent. We'll get a chance to look at it for 3 games.
Addison Russell out of the Pensacola area has finally arrived in the big leagues. Former first-round pick of the Oakland Athletics.
Yeah, some young players, and they have a terrific manager in Joe Madden who tries to keep it all together.
All right, it's the Cubs, it's the Marlins, it's the first of 3. And, by the way, 2 very important starts. Opposing pitchers. Yes, Jose Fernandez and Jared Kozar getting some work today. center field. Craig Minervini, Jeff Conine.
Thank you, Rich, and feeling pretty good about things. It was a great day for Jared Cozart rehabbing and Jose Fernandez in what they call extended spring training, at least for the pitchers today. Maybe not the hitters.
Yeah, maybe not the hitters. I wouldn't want to be an A-ball guy in extended spring training facing the two arms they had to today. Jared Cozart off on the DL right now with vertigo. He had an inner ear infection coming out, and starting in Jupiter, you see what he did. 3 innings pitched, 1 hit, only 1 walk and 5 Ks. He is itching to get back in this rotation and help these guys out. Try to make a push. They're not too far behind, as poorly as they played the last stretch, not too far behind in the standings. And then this guy, of course, he has just been amazing in his whole rehab process. I don't think he's had one setback yet, and today was no exception, striking out 7 of the 10 batters that he faced, and said he felt fantastic. And we're looking probably about a month or a little over a month away to see Jose Fernandez back in the starting rotation.
Jose told me he could have pitched 3-4 more innings at a minimum today. Allowed no hits and 7 strikeouts, 42 pitches for Jose Fernandez today, and we'll start on Saturday for Jupiter. And if you string out 5 starts, and again, everything is dependent on how he feels. Anything could change here. But on the very short side of that, you're looking at the best case scenario would be early July against San Francisco here at home. Would the team care health-wise or not? Would they rather him start here at home if you could select it?
I think if you had selected, absolutely. I mean, his first start back after a year of rehab would be huge here at home. And when you see what he did velocity-wise, too, 94 to 97 miles an hour in his first start back. That's a good sign.
So bright side, San Francisco, July 1-2. If not, the Marlins will go on the road for that Chicago-Boston series, which adds even more intrigue, because hopefully he'll get a start there either way for the Marlins at either Wrigley or Fenway. So a lot to look forward to. But up next is the Chicago Cubs for the first of 3. Next.
Marlins and Cubs game on as the Fish open up a mini 3-game homestand with a 3-game series. Jose Urena, the 23-year-old Dominican, will try to bounce back from his first major league start and snap back into that form that had him pitching so well in AAA. Joe Madden here as a Ray. Joe's trying to get somebody's attention there. What a great run with the Rays, 9 years in Tampa Bay, 4 postseasons, 2-time manager of the year. And the man next to him, Davey Martinez, his bench coach. He brought him with him from Tampa Bay to Chicago. It's a familiar staff. A lot of this coaching staff was here with Rick Renteria last year, and even Chris Bosio spans the years before that. So Urena takes the mound and ready to face a ball club that can mash. There are some big bats. Most of the big bats are young bats in this Cubs lineup. J.M. Lexus brings you the Cubs batting order. Dexter Fowler, speedy center fielder. Chris Bryant, the rookie sensation, had a terrific May. 40 games, he's hit 7 homers, driven in 32. Anthony Rizzo, the all-star from Parkland. Jorge Soler, the Cuban who had a great start last year and is following up with a solid year this year. Miguel Montero, former Diamondback, is having a nice offensive year behind the plate. Starlin Castro's out at short. Chris Coughlin out in left. His numbers at .223, but according to everybody in a Cub uniform, he's been swinging it well. Jason Hamill's in the 8th spot, so the Cubs hit Hamill 8 and Addison Russell, Florida native, is in the 9th spot and playing second. And here is Urena.
Obviously, Rich, a tough assignment for the 23-year-old coming after his first major league start, a loss in Pittsburgh. And when you talk about sliders, you hear the term bite and tilt, and he needs to get more of that on that good slider that he has. That was a slider that got him 4-0 with an ERA about 1.5 below that in AAA. So first start here at Marlins Park. Jose Urena, first ever appearance, of course, against the Chicago Cubs.
Defense tonight for the Marlins, brought to you by BMW.
And there it is with Yelich, Ozuna, and Stanton in the outfield. You'll see Donovan Solano at short, so up the middle, Solano and D. Gordon. Things are looking better for Echeverria, so I'm taking batting practice today, and I wouldn't be surprised if he gets himself in the lineup tomorrow night. Prado and Bohr at the corners, and JT Realmuto behind the plate.
Dan Jennings enters this series with a ball club that has won 2 of their last 3 series. A win over Baltimore, taking 2 of 3 from the Orioles, taking 2 of 3 for the Mets, but a 3-game sweep at the hands of the hot Pirates in between those 2. Dexter Fowler ready to go. He's in the box with Chris Bryant. Anthony Rizzo to follow. Jose Urena on the rubber, staring in. And delivers a first pitch. It's lined into center field, a base hit.
A lot of times that leadoff hitter will set the tone, and so the feeling you get is that this Cubs lineup is going to be aggressive against Urena.
And here is Chris Bryant. Bryant much ballyhooed with his arrival, and why not? He's 23, out of Las Vegas. He and Bryce Harper faced each other in Little League. Played his college ball in San Diego. Not at San Diego State, but at the University of San Diego. Fowler chased back. Bryant, big guy, 6'5", 215. Was the 2nd overall pick in that 13 draft.
Yeah, the first pick was the right-hander, Mark Appel, out of Stanford.
Hey, where's the gun?
Fowler looking across the diamond. Gary Jones is the third base coach for the Cubs. Urena to the plate quickly, and Bryant fouls it off. One of the scouting reports regarding Urena, aside from the fastballs that he throws, pretty good at holding runners at first base.
And he's going to have to be, because this is a ball club that will run. Dexter Fowler has 11 stolen bases, 43 stolen bases as a team.
And Urena, with 2 strikes on Bryant, steps off.
So they'll run in steal situations, but Joe Maddon also likes to put the ball in play and have movement, so he'll put on the hit and run a few times too. There's a good slider. It missed, but a good one by Urena.
A check of Fowler. And that's just out. Urena stopped and looked in. He thought it was a strike.
Well, he's made his last 2 pitches, 2 really good pitches.
Well, that's not close, and
they were off. A good slider and a good fastball, but he has to, at least to himself, say, Those are good pitches. If you're going to miss, that's where you want to miss.
2-2. That's way outside. The count's 3-2. And now we'll see if Dexter Fowler's on the move.
You would expect he would be.
Bryant, along with a few other Cubs in Joe Maddon's lineup, see a lot of pitches. Bryant especially, one of the best in the National League already. And that pitch misses in. He was ahead 0-2, and now he walks him. And the big bats just keep on coming. Here comes Anthony Rizzo, and you've got Jorge Soler behind him.
It's a good moment here. D. Gordon, Donovan Solano coming in to talk with Urena. You wonder if maybe a couple of those pitches that were balls, that were close, that he maybe thought were strikes. You've just got to regroup, and it doesn't get easier with Anthony Rizzo coming up.
Rizzo crowds the plate and takes a mean hack. Fourth year as a Cub for Rizzo. 25-year-old. Stoneman Douglas High School in Parkland. Way back in 2007, was drafted by the Boston Red Sox. Urena out in front 0-2 on Rizzo.
32 home runs last year. Rizzo this year, boy, a terrific on-base percentage, slugging percentage.
Infield shifted around. The pitch misses up. One-two. Rizzo lines it into left center field. That's a base hit. Over for it is Ozuna. Rizzo's not stopping, and he'll get to second with a double, and the Cubs are in business right out of the gates.
Yeah, it's a pretty good pitch. Just nice hitting from Anthony Rizzo. Watch what this pitch is. It's away, but because he's on top of the plate, guys that are on top of the plate, you need to stay inside and crowd him. He was able to extend, hit the ball well the other way, and the Cubs have come out swinging.
14th double for Rizzo, and now Urena has to figure out how to limit the damage here. Jorge Soler, Miguel Montero, and Starlin Castro are all lined up now. And he misses outside. Chuck Hernandez, Marlins pitching coach, watching from the dugout. To Soler is down low. Jorge Soler burst onto the scene last year in a big way. He's still a rookie. Didn't play in enough games last year, but he did enough damage that everybody took notice of him. He's followed it up with a solid year. Leads all rookies in hits, doubles. Up the middle, that's going to score a run. Bryant scores. Soler drives in his 19th, and the Cubs have a 2-0 lead.
Well, not only does he pick up the runner from third, because this ball's to the right side, he moves Rizzo over to third base. Interesting theory when you see teams against a young pitcher. They've never seen, not a lot of video on. Some will try to feel him out for a first at bat, 3 innings. Others, as the Cubs have done, become very aggressive, and they've been real aggressive tonight.
Here's Montero. Infield's in. Rizzo's at third. Montero cuts and misses. We've seen Miguel Montero in a Diamondback uniform. 9 seasons, the last 6 as the starting catcher for Arizona, including 2 postseasons.
Yeah, an all-star a couple of times.
Swing and a miss. Good change up there. was traded to the Cubs for a pair of minor leaguers. Remember, he signed a long-term deal with the Diamondbacks, and he's owed $40 million through 2017. That includes this year, next year, and 17. And of course, the Diamondbacks catching position's been in flux almost from the get-go this year. In fact, Jared Saltalamacchia has been called up after the injury to Tuffy Gosewich. 1-2 to Miguel Montero. Infield in, 2 runs across, just underway. Urania misses in. 2-2.
Talked about it before with Jose Urania. He's worked his way through the system. A-ball, double-A, triple-A.
Little tapper, runner comes home. Urania's flip, and he is out. That was close. Urania almost flipped it like it was a force play, and it wasn't. It was a tag play, which meant Real Muto had to go back down to tag him. And I'm sure the Cubs are looking at this and going to review it.
Yeah, he comes off the mound. You like the way he does that, but then the flip, he takes his time, and it's up high. Because it's up high, JT Real Muto has to come down, and that's very close. Rizzo may have gotten the foot on the plate, maybe not.
Rizzo felt he was safe, but the Cubs will not challenge. So no challenge. Here's Castro, and he pops it foul and into the seats.
Castro is certainly a guy that isn't going to walk much. Almost 200 at bats this year, just 9 walks.
Little tapper. Urania has it, bobbles it, picks it up, and gets the out. Some jitters here in the first inning, and the Cubs jump the rookie for 2 runs. Close play at the plate. Anthony Rizzo out. Runs early. Jamblexis brings you Miami's starting lineup. D. Gordon at second, Martin Prados at third, Giancarlo Stanton in right field, Justin Boers at first, Marcelo Zuna in center, Christian Yelich in left, JT Real Muto the catcher, and Donovan Solano is at shortstop with Jose Urania in the 9 position. And the Marlins see a veteran right-hander, Jason Hamill.
Well, a guy who was actually drafted by the Rays back in 2002. He's been on a nice run. 4 consecutive starts for Hamill, 7 innings or more.
D. Gordon's hitting 9 straight. Shortens the bunt, takes a fastball up. Gordon 2 more hits yesterday. He had 5 hits in New York. Of course, continues to lead the majors in batting average and in hits. 377 average. Gordon lines it to center field. Fowler a good look at it and makes the catch. Gordon hit it on the button. There's 1 out. And here's the Cubs defensively.
And we'll check on that defense. Brought to you by BMW. Chris Coughlin, no stranger in left field. Dexter Fowler, Jorge Soler, Chris Bryant, Starlin Castro, Addison Russell, who's actually a terrific shortstop. He's at second base. Anthony Rizzo and Miguel Montero behind the plate.
Cubs have made 41 errors this year. That is next to last in the National League. Marlins still lead the National League with just 20. Martin Prado now, and then Giancarlo Stanton.
Yeah, Russell's made 7, Castro 11, Chris Bryant has made 7.
Prado pops it up. Rizzo over for a look. Out of reach. Those 2 guys have been shoulder to shoulder for the last 10 years now. 9 in Tampa Bay. Liner down the right field line. Prado going hard, and it's in there for a fair ball. Picked up in the corner by Soler, and Prado's got himself a double. Martin Prado's 9th double of the season.
Yeah, it's like he'll put together a 6-8 game hitting streak, maybe go hitless a couple days, then here comes again 4 games in a row now for Martin. Boy, he does this so well. Taking the ball the other way, out of the reach of Soler, slicing away from him. And then Prado had that in front of him, so he knew that was 2 bases all the way.
So here is Stanton now, facing Hamill. And time called by Miguel Montero. Stanton 12 at bats against this right-hander. 5 hits, 1 of them a homer. Breaking ball that misses. It is 1-0. 15 home runs. He's driven in 44, leading the National League in RBIs. And the home run against Hamill, one of the classic Stanton shots, and not to left.
That was up. It was a fastball. He stayed back. And when Giancarlo drives the ball that way, which I saw him do a lot of in batting practice today, great sign.
Swing and a miss.
So he's seen 3 breaking balls. He hasn't seen a fastball from Hamill.
It's a real interesting run. Those are the matchup numbers. Stanton average-wise hasn't really lit it up, but 7 of his last 11 hits have been home runs. He fouls it there.
That's a pitch that he's working on, that he has to stay back and drive that into right center. As soon as that front side pulls off, it's a tough pitch for a right-hander to hit. Now let's see if Hamill goes off the plate away. He hasn't seen a fastball yet. He could do that.
Prado's at second. Breaking ball, and he went. And Stanton strikes out.
Right now it's just very frustrating, I'm sure, for Giancarlo Stanton. He's not been able to lay off. As soon as he can lay off this pitch, look out.
So Justin Bour approaches. Of course, Bour has blossomed starting at first base in a pinch hitting role as well. And a big swing and a miss. Everything about Justin Bour is big, isn't it? The swing, the smile.
This is probably a series he has to be real careful of not trying to do too much. From an organization that he came up in, he was disappointed in at times.
Takes a fastball in. Now Bohr has homered in 3 straight. George Mason, which is near Centerville. Centerville very near to Washington, D.C. 25th round by the Cubs. But he put up some good numbers in the Cubs organization. There just wasn't a spot for him.
Yeah, he told me before the game that the most disappointed he probably was the year he had in Double-A. He drove in 110 RBIs, and the Cubs sent him back to Double-A. And he just tried to keep focused and stay with it, but he said that was disappointing.
One-two, a swing and a miss, and he strikes out. Prado left at second. Cubs are up 2-0.
Kendall Toyota.
In Miami, first of a 3-game set, Cubs and Marlins, and the Cubs have jumped rookie Jose Urena in his 2nd major league start for 2 quick runs. Bottom third of the order for this lanky 23-year-old Dominican. And a familiar face, our old friend Chris Coghlan. Coghlan, Jason Hamill, the pitcher, and then Addison Russell, 7, 8, 9 in the Cubs order. Coghlan takes outside. Chris had a really nice year last year. 283 average, 352 on base, and he slugged 452.
That was something, too, the on base that he always did coming up in the Marlins organization. Told me he really has enjoyed his Cub tenure, especially with Joe Madden this year. He's been in every game this year. Started 38. He's been in every game.
Joe Madden said before the ballgame he's swinging it a lot better than his numbers indicate. In fact, Madden is trying to get Coghlan out of the habit, and he's been spraying line drives and atom balls of when he hits it hard at somebody and just shaking his head. A little roller up the line, and Joe has said, hey, don't shake your head. Just stay positive. And Coghlan, for the most part, has, but trying to get out of that habit. He, of course, had that great 2009, the National League Rookie of the Year. 128 games, he had 162 hits. Soft ground ball in the hole. Solano across the diamond in time to get him. So an out for Urena to open up the 2nd. The Cubs tomorrow night, 7:10, and you can rewrite the future. Remember, Back to the Future 2, the headline, Miami versus the Cubs in the World Series. Social media night tomorrow, and you can pick up the social media night package, marlins.com/special events. Get a game ticket, limited edition t-shirt, and more.
This is how you have to approach this if you're Urania. Hamill, of course, hitting 8th. The Cubs have done this all year. Joe Madden has had his pitcher hit 8th all year. But Urania, you think about it, after the double by Rizzo, he retired Soler, Montero, Castro, got Chris Coghlan. So he has to just go from there. Forget about what happened those first few hitters and think about how he got the last 3 outs and the first out here in this inning.
And Hamill can hit. He can handle the bat.
Madden likes the pitcher hitting 8 because with Rizzo 3rd and Bryant 2nd, it turns things over and gets those guys coming up.
And Addison Russell becomes a second leadoff man. And Hamill does hit into center field. That'll up his average, which started the night at 261.
Yeah, that's his 7th base hit this year.
He's having a career year, though. His career average 137. So a single here. Urania's already thrown 31 pitches. And here is Russell. I'm sure we have a few fans up in the Pensacola area that are watching. Pace High School up in that area in Pace, Florida. Swing and a miss, and he was the apple of Oakland's eye. 11th overall pick in 2012, but when the Athletics signaled to everyone they were going for it last year and needed starting pitching, the Cubs sent Hamill and Jeff Samardzija.
That's the funny part about that trade.
To get Russell. I think that hit him. Sure sounded like it, and it did.
You could actually hear it. It just clipped the jersey enough. There it is right there.
Umpires go on sound. And you can hear the double sound from jersey to glove. So the Cubs were able to get Oakland's top position prospect in Addison Russell for those 2 arms.
And then as a free agent, they signed Jason Hamill back
to a 2-year contract.
Yeah.
Of course, Jeff Samardzija is now a Chicago White Sox. 0-1. Dexter Fowler lined a single to center, and that started a 2-run first.
Amazing thing about that, Fowler had been 0 for 15 here at Marlins Park before that single.
Real Muto has it pop out of the glove, and everybody advances. I don't know if he was crossed up or just flat missed it.
Well, he's going to talk to Urania. And hard to tell. It'll probably be a pass ball, but we'll not know if he was crossed up or if he just didn't get a good approach on it, didn't get the glove turned over. I'm guessing because of the conversation they had, he could have been crossed up.
And so Urania, for the 2nd straight inning, is pitching in trouble here. 2nd and 3rd, 1 out. Fowler pops it up. Urania and Prado. It's Prado who makes the catch. And he had to call off the rookie right-hander in the process.
Boy, that's a big out. Very big out. See if we can hear Prado.
Got it.
And he was loud enough. Urania backed off. Let the veteran take it.
Now this is exactly what you were talking about with Joe Madden hitting the pitcher in the 8th spot. Hamill, the pitcher, did get a hit. Russell was hit by a pitch. But here's Bryant in an RBI spot with 2 outs. And Bryant is hitting 2nd in the order.
Well, remember when Bryant first came up, they put a lot of pressure on him. They had him hitting cleanup. But lately, he's been hitting in that number 2 spot. 19 games, 20th start tonight in the number 2 spot.
Just an amazing ascension, and he won just about every award that Baseball America had. He was Baseball America's Player of the Year in college in 2013, and their Player of the Year in the minors last year, when he hit 43 homers last year and had a .661 slugging percentage.
Oh, wow.
Anything over 500 and you're really popping it. 0-2.
You know, and this is not an easy assignment, by the way, for JT. Tough to handle a young pitcher who's not pinpoint with control. The interesting thing, because you mentioned Bryce Harper in Las Vegas played Little League against each other. Harper, of course, signed so young out of high school, and Bryant out of college. A little different in levels of maturity, levels of where they were with their baseball skills.
And Bryant is older than Harper.
Yeah. And Harper's what, in his 4th year?
Count 2-2. Urania. Got him. Breaking ball. Real Muto has to pick it up and fire to first and get the out. And so the youngster escapes the second. 2-0 Chicago.
And with your pledge pack, you can get a choice of orange hat or black hat, a Christian Yelich replica gold glove, a Fox Sports H2O gold mug, a Ford bag, Tommy Bahama coasters, a Bob the Shark, a Big G Stanton growth chart. We're about the same size. 4 tickets to an upcoming game. And last but not least, an autographed ball by yours truly.
Very nice. And Marcell Ozuna goes after the first pitch of the second, fouls it up. D. Gordon autographed baseball, certainly the highlight of the pledge pack. So you can buy them online or order them by phone. And they are going quite quickly. We sell 200 of them. There are roughly 60 left. 305-480-2550 or marlins.com/pledgepack singular. Marlins.com/pledgepack singular. So jump on it if you'd like to donate. Every penny goes to Marlins Foundation, and that money immediately goes into South Florida youth. Ozuna scorches one just wide of the bag. The count is 1-2.
So we have on the scouting report for Jason Hamill. 3-quarter delivery, has some good sink, good two-seamers. He's a guy who's not going to light up radar guns. He's not going to be real impressive, but he's a command guy. He'll use that slider, which we saw with Giancarlo as his out pitch. He's a very, as you guess you could say, a serviceable right-hander. In his last 6 starts, he's had an ERA just a little over 2.
2-year deal he signed with the Cubs. Ozuna went. So Hamill has struck out the last 3 he's faced. And he's been able to get both right-handers on check swings, Stanton and Ozuna.
Well, he got the right-handers with the slider, and he got Justin Bour with a high fastball.
Here is Christian Yelich. Yelich takes a fastball for a strike. Yelich enters the ballgame with an 8-game hit streak. That pitch misses outside. In those 8 games, he's hit .333. Has started his ascension back up the hitting charts. Opens the day at .220. That's foul, just barely.
Frustrating part about baseball, you usually descend faster than you ascend. In his young career, though, Christian Yelich, a .429 hitter with a couple of home runs against the Cubs.
Not a lot of history with Hamill, just 3 at-bats, 1 hit. Ball in the dirt. Yelich with the Marlins. See Real Muto on deck. The Marlins lineup having the pitcher hitting 8th yesterday. Yelich was in the 7th spot, drove in a run, and had a double. Drives that one well, but foul.
Boy, that's down. We just had that shot looking in from left field, and that's similar to where we had that camera shot. So be ready.
Full count. Bangs another one into the seats. Yelich, 32 games, 32 out of Miami's 51 games. He's got just 123 at-bats. And there was a couple of weeks there that you knew that lower back was bothering him. Swing and a miss. Hamill with a breaking ball. Jason Hamill has punched out 4 consecutive hitters. Tuesday night. Email and Twitter Tuesday on Fox Sports Florida. Tomorrow night, 6:30 start for Marlins Live. You have a chance to ask questions, be featured on the telecast by tweeting or following on Twitter and Instagram at Fox Marlins, or by sending an email, foxmarlins@gmail.com. There's JT Real Muto.
Jason Hamill now 62 strikeouts in 61 innings, just 7 walks. And you think of a guy such as Jason Hamill, you don't think strikeouts. You think of strikeouts when you see that guy, Jose Fernandez.
Jose Fernandez will join us in the 3rd. We'll talk about his rehab start, how he felt, and what the next 3 weeks will bring. Hamill thought he had a strikeout. Bill Welke, the home plate umpire, a veteran. Sam Holbrook, James Hoy, and John Hirschbeck are on the bases. That one just missed. There's that slider, and a check swing brings a ground ball back to the mound. Hamill gets the out, and a 1-2-3 second for the pitch. The Marlins dugout. Great to see you. Well, it's great to see you with a headset on, but it's much better to see you on the mound today. Congratulations on getting back. I know it's been a long road. What did it feel like, Jose, with your first start down in extended spring?
And really hard to describe in one word. I think that it was, it was great to go out there and compete again, guys. It's always fun to compete, man. I love to compete. You guys know that. I think that we all know that. So it was really fun to step out there and pitch.
Other than coming out of the assignment feeling good, what were the things you really tried to work on today?
I would like to keep that as a secret, but I will give you something that, just fastball command, I think is huge. I think it was really important to me, that fastball command, throw a couple of breaking balls just to make sure, they're doing what they're supposed to do, and throwing a couple of changeups, and, mixing in a couple of stuff, and, just working on stuff to when I get my chance to pitch in the big leagues again.
Were you a little nervous, not necessarily nervous that you would pitch well, but nervous about how you would feel or how it would go?
Oh, not about the way that I was feeling. I knew that I would, 5 days before, I think that we did the same game, and I had the gun on, so I saw my pitches where they were. Was really happy with the velocity and with the location too. Not overthrowing, and so that was nice to see. And but I wasn't nervous. I was a little nervous about stepping on the mound and pitching again. That I was.
You mentioned having the gun on in the sim game. I know you haven't had the gun a lot. Was that important for you to at least get an idea?
Kind of it was. I think that I didn't want it before. I think that I had a pretty good idea where I was at, because as a pitcher, you know if the ball's jumping out of your hand, or if it's you're not feeling it well, you feel like you got to cut shot with your arm. But we've been doing a lot of stuff, and I knew that I was somewhere around 94, 95, but I take 97. I don't mind that.
In a game like this, here's the 3-1 pitch from Urena. It's up, and Rizzo walks. In a game like this morning, do you throw all of your pitches just to see what they feel like, see what the command is?
Yeah, no, of course. I think that we tried to let go of everything out there, and I think that it felt great, guys. I have been doing that for a little while now. Couple of live BPs, a couple of sim games, and it was just great to have hit like guys behind my back, my A players. So it was nice to see that. Now that cage right behind the hitter, and just basically letting them know what is coming. So it was fun, really fun to compete.
What's next?
I got to start next Saturday in Port Charlotte against the high A team. I'm playing with them, so I think that I'm going 4 innings or 60 pitches, something like that. But looking forward to it, and you know, hopefully I can get that team a chance to win a ball game.
Well, they're looking forward to it as well, because you know the tradition, when a big leaguer goes down, he helps the spread out a little bit.
Of course. That I'm gonna take good care of them, because I remember big fella Stanton when I was in high A. I remember he came out with us, and he gave us a lot of good food, so I was really happy about that, and so now I got to do it.
Hey, give us a scouting report on Jared Cozart, because as fortune would have it, or misfortune, I guess, you guys opposed each other in this game. You didn't get to face him as a hitter, obviously.
I wanted it to.
I know you did, but what did he look like?
Guys, he was great. We've been throwing our bullpens and stuff, and when I threw my last inning game, and he was throwing a bullpen, and then I threw another bullpen 2 days later. So we've been up there for the last week working together, and we've been talking about it, and it was really fun. I mean, he was looking great, guys. You know, hopefully he's going to be back here soon, helping the team to win, and he was looking really, really sharp. So really happy for him.
What do you see, Jose, from the other Jose out there on the mound tonight? Young pitcher, first start here at home.
You know, I know him. I know him for a little while. We play minor league together, low A and high A, and you know, I see a guy that, you know, has worked his butt off basically, and he's trying to do what he's supposed to do, and he has a lot of talent. There's no doubt about it. We all can see that. You know, if you know a little bit about baseball, you can see that he has a lot of talent, and he's competing out there. So I mean, that's the only thing we can ask for. But hopefully, he's going to be good for a long time.
Jose, thank you for the visit. Continued success, and we can't wait to see you in whenever it is, 3 weeks, 4 weeks.
Oh, guys, trust me, I'm excited, man. I'm excited. I can't wait to be back with these boys here, competing our heart out and doing what we can to win some ball games.
Do you have a date in the back of your head where it possibly might be?
That's a tough question. That's a tough question, but
oh, it's a commercial, Tommy.
You got a break.
That is fantastic. Yes, sir.
Thank you, Jose.
All right, guys. All right.
2-0 Cubs. Telecast presented by the Authority. The Marlins may not be reproduced, retransmitted in any form. Counts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the Miami Marlins. Rich Waltz, Tommy Hutton, Craig Minervini, Martin Prado, D. Gordon, JT Realmuto. Last but not least, Donovan Solano, who leads it off against Jason Hamill. His fastball buzzes high. 1-0.
Rich, how happy did Jose look and appear and sound and everything else?
It's just beyond words to describe, especially having watched what this ball club has been through, not only the last 2 weeks, but really from the start of the season when they opened the season at 3-11. Breaking ball is a strike. Craig, you've got more. 1-2 pitch, swing and a miss. Donovan Solano goes down on strikes. And here comes Jose Urena. All right, let's do this again. Craig, you've got more.
Take two, yeah. You know, Jose Fernandez is talking to him. He's done such great work to get himself physically strong. He said last year, he told me this today, he was in the best shape of his life, flat out. He said, but he wasn't in the best pitching shape. And he said, now, he said, I am in the best pitching shape I've ever been. I had to get into this kind of shape. Thought he was in better shape last year. So he has just been enamored with the way everything's going. It's almost, you know, almost too good, if you will. And they're talking about 5 rehab starts. Everything will depend on tomorrow. How does he feel the day after? How does he feel the day after? So everything is very much in pencil, guys. But if you'd strung out 5, you're looking at early July. You know, now the Marlins, will they get them in the San Francisco series here at home? Or will it be the road trip, Chicago, Boston? Or if there's a slight setback, and there very well could be, a little bit later. He says before All-Star break, I would say on the early side, no earlier than July 1-2. And hopefully that's the date or somewhere before the All-Star game.
And then maybe, if that's the case, maybe one of those games in Boston.
Yeah, but maybe. Yeah, you might get him. It would be neat if he could get a home game first. Boy, the place would be electric. San Francisco and then Boston. But, you know, he just can't put, and the Marlins can't put it down because everything depends on these 5 rehab starts that he's going to have. And they may decide we need a 6th, we need whatever. So that's why they're not giving a date. And I don't think Jose wants to look ahead, even though he was dying to answer your question.
Yeah, he was. And certainly Dan Jennings can't wait to pencil his name on a lineup card. D. Gordon with a 1-2 count. Jason Hamill's given up just a Prado double. Rizzo sucks up a ground ball and steps on the bag. And Jason Hamill has retired 8 straight Marlins. Cubs lead at 2-0. Kids eat free on Wednesday. Guess what? There's a game on Wednesday. It's the Cubs. 7:10 start. Every kid 12 and under. Not kid at heart, but you got to be 12 and under. You get a free K&B Frank bag of Frito-Lay chips, and Pepsi or Aquafina water. It's the first Wind Down Wednesday of the season. It's presented by Barefoot Wines. Get your tickets at Marlins.com. And, of course, Wednesday is a big night for us here at Fox Sports Florida. It is our Fox Sports Fantasy Auction. We will be broadcasting from a variety of spots around the ballpark during the Cubs-Marlins game. Starlin Castro.
Not to mention a terrific pitching matchup.
Yes. John Lester, Dan Herron.
Yeah, a couple of veterans. Dan Herron has been just spectacular.
And if you go to Marlins.com/fantasy, the big board, the Ford big board, is up. All the items from the big board and the mini board are around, and so they are online. They've just gone live think in the first inning they went up. So not a bad time to go in and take a peek at it. Ford Big Board's got a lot of big items. The Grant Thornton mini board. Grant Thornton and Ford, two of our main sponsors this year, includes, get this, Tommy Hutton, an autographed Ichiro bat, and he's going to autograph the jersey that he wears on Wednesday and autograph that. You'll get a game-used autographed Ichiro jersey and an autographed, authenticated Ichiro bat.
And you're talking about a future Hall of Famer.
Here's a 3-2 pitch. Fly ball right field. Stanton over. Castro will see this one land in Stanton's glove. So Starlin Castro is the first out of the fourth. Here's another really cool item that's on the little board. We've never done this before. It's a minor league affiliate package. Doesn't sound sexy.
I saw that the other day. It really looked neat. Doesn't
sound sexy, but here's what you get. You get a Justin Nicolino game-used autographed jersey from the New Orleans Zephyrs. Jose Fernandez game-used jersey from his days with the Jupiter Hammerheads. A Marcell Ozuna Hammerhead jersey autographed. Greensboro Grasshoppers autographed bat. And a Tyler Kolek autographed jersey from the Greensboro Grasshoppers. And a bunch of old bobbleheads, like I believe it's a Christian Yelich bag from his minor league days.
That's one of those, you know, you get together with a couple of your buddies and you go together on that, make the nice bid. And you split things up.
And if there's a minor league game you want to go to, whether it's New Orleans or Greensboro, Jupiter, Jacksonville, we will hook you up with tickets. That is on the little board. The Grant Thornton little board, Wednesday fantasy auction.
I think we're trying to see if you went to one of those games in Greensboro, if we could get Jack McKeon to sit with you, but we weren't sure if Jack was going to be in town. He might be here.
You do get a game-used Jack McKeon cigar butt, though. There's Ichiro. Coghlan waits. 1-2 count. Chris Coghlan could always hit, whether it was growing up in Tampa. Started as a youngster in Baltimore. Family moved to Tampa. East Lake High School there. Ole Miss. And then 8 years in the Marlins organization. Driven to right. That one is foul.
You talked earlier, Rich, about his Rookie of the Year season, 2009. You talk about a strong finish. That's what won him the Rookie of the Year. Chris hit .385, had 47 hits in August, hit .390 in September with 53 hits in the month.
And that's really what made last year so sweet for Coghlan. Remember, he had that knee injury in 2011, spent most of 2012 in AAA, calf injury in 13. To get to the big leagues, get to the Cubs, and perform like he did last year, very satisfying for him. Hamels on deck. Urania working in the fourth with one out.
I think we've seen the 23-year-old settle in. Urania has thrown more strikes, a little better command. If you think about it, in his starts in AAA this year, 5 of his 6 starts, he went 6 or more innings. As a matter of fact, the last 3 starts he had, he went 7.
Coghlan walks. A 1-out walk. Here comes Jason Hamill. South Florida Honda dealers, get you ready for tomorrow night's ball game. 6:30 starts. Email, Twitter, Tuesday. And had to look twice at the starting pitcher for the Chicago Cubs. Not Kyle Kendrick, but Kyle Hendricks.
That's a little confusing.
Kyle Kendrick, the former Philly, current Rocky.
And Kyle Hendricks out of Dartmouth.
No relation to Jimmy.
So we will see Kyle Kendrick soon, coming up in Denver.
Not related to George Hendrick. Cub fan with a souvenir. Don't throw it back. Oh, one pitch. Little swing. And Prado's going to pick it up, fire to first, and just
he had to make a quick decision.
Just got the out. It wasn't going foul. And Prado didn't have time to see if it was going to take a quick left turn.
Yeah, you have nobody on base, depending who the hitter is, depending what inning it is. You might take a chance, but Prado alertly, he saw where it was. He saw the way the ball was spinning, and it wasn't spinning, taking it foul. So he had to quickly pick it up. He knew he had a little time because the pitcher was running.
Coughlin the runner at second. And here is Addison Russell. Boy, Addison Russell came through the minor leagues blazing. His career minor league numbers coming into this season: 300 average, 379 on base, 522 slugging. 21 now out of Pensacola.
That's the amazing thing with him at 21. Rizzo 25, Bryant 23, Soler 23. Talking to Chris Coughlin before the game, at 29, he's one of the older veterans on this ball club.
Into right field, that's a base hit. Coughlin rounds second, Stanton picks it up, and Coughlin will score. Russell stretches the lead to 3-0.
Well, the one-out walk comes back to bite Urania. There's a pitch down. It's out over the plate. Not a bad pitch. Good stroke by Russell to kind of cross up a little bit of a shift. D. Gordon playing him near the middle, and Russell goes the other way.
Russell can run, though he swiped just one bag. Here's Fowler.
Last year with Houston, we saw Dexter Fowler a few years with the Rockies.
Switch hitting center fielder. Cubs have 4 hits with the 3 runs. And you pointed out the walks have hurt. 2 of the 3 runs have been walks. There's your bobbleheads. The bobblehead museum. Christian Yelich action.
Saw the first base coach backside of Brandon Hyde. Gained some valuable experience when he was with Jack McKeon.
Managed a few ball games.
Yeah.
Cubs hitting coach, a familiar name as well, John Maley, who was the Marlins hitting coach in 2010 and 11. That's trouble if it's fair, and it's foul.
Yeah, you could see as that ball launched in the air, that wasn't hit well, and it was a long way for Christian Yelich. You could really tell he wasn't going to get there. Fortunately for the Marlins, it goes foul.
Well, as these Cubs have been rebuilt to a much younger, more powerful group, there's John Maley. Fowler takes in. Full count, 3-2. Obviously Russell on the move now. Chuck Hernandez watching his rookie amass 80 pitches already. He's not through the fourth yet. Strike 3 called. Down goes Fowler. And he barks about it with Bill Welke. 3-0. Cubs add a run. Florida is brought to you by Toyota. Let's go places. By Florida Coast Equipment, Florida's largest Kubota dealer. Visit us at FloridaCoastEQ.com. And by AutoNation. Save on over 70,000 vehicles now. Visit AutoNation.com. In Miami tonight, the Cubs have arrived for a 3-game series. Jason Hamill, veteran right-hander, has a 3-0 lead to work with. In the bottom of the fourth, Martin Prado, Giancarlo Stanton, and Justin Bour, the meat of Miami's order.
You know, Prado with his base hit in the first inning, the only hit the Marlins have, takes him to 7 for 17 in his career against Hamill. So they have a little history.
Hamill's out in front, 0-2. Hamill has been pitching like a guy with the lead, very aggressive. Miami has just the one hit. Prado's double was it back in the first. And that breaking ball has been awful tough for the right-handed bats to stay off.
Well, we told you he's been on a nice run. Giancarlo on deck. Last outing for Jason Hamill, 7 innings against Arizona. Paul Goldschmidt took him deep, though.
That fooled everyone.
Fooled the umpire. Fooled Prado.
2-2. Prado checks his swing, and it's 3-2. Fastball, and Prado rips it to left, and it hangs up for Coughlin to make the catch. About as hard as you can hit it. Right on a line out to left field.
Boy, Martin Prado has absolutely stung 2 balls. A double in the first, that a line drive out.
Well, here is Stanton now, and as we documented his first at bat, one of the pitches that he's struggling with right now is that breaking ball away, and that's what Hamill got him with. That's a breaking ball that starts in and comes across the plate for a strike. Hamill hit the glove. Montero was set up.
Sometimes we can put together a graphic and you see where the 22% is.
Fastball, rifle shot to right.
That's good. That right there tells you that he's going to start to get locked in, because confidence-wise, all of a sudden, he'll file that away. He can stay back. If he stays back, that allows him then to lay off that slider that's off the plate. Terrific swing.
So a good sign for Stanton, and here now is Bohr, his second look at Hamill. Pitch is in, and we check in with Craig Minervini.
Rich, always interesting to see the road that guys take to the major leagues. And for Justin Bohr, part of that ticket was punched by Andy Barquette, who was the Jacksonville manager, managed against Bohr. When you mentioned a couple of years ago, he had that big year for Tennessee, the Smokies, the Cubs AA affiliate. Andy, who's here as the Marlins assistant hitting coordinator up and down the organization, he told me he was a Jacksonville Suns killer. And he would write several reports that Bohr, this guy is a guy we want to keep an eye on. And sure enough, in December of 2013, as Stanton's going to try and take advantage of that little bounce in front of the catcher, and does. Good secondary lead there by Giancarlo to get over to second. But for Justin Bohr, he was available in the minor league Rule 5 draft. And there's a long list. And Barquette, just doing his diligence in December 2013, was looking at the list. And he saw Bohr's name there. He called up the Marlins people. He said, this is a guy we got to put a claim in on. $12,500, very well paid off for the Marlins, and now he gets a chance finally in the big leagues with the Fish, and here he is against his former organization.
That's a great story. Bohr right now trying to give Miami a run. And a big swing and a miss.
They've been working him upstairs with fastballs. That's a pitch he struck out on back in the first inning. Andy Barquette someday is going to be a big league manager. He's doing it the right way. He's managed in Dominican. He's going to manage there again this winter. Managed in the Marlins system.
Stanton's running. Pitch is low. The throw into left field. Stanton is on his way home, and he'll score. On a stolen base and a throwing error. The big guy pulls a little D. Gordon on you.
Advances on a wild pitch. Good base running. Steals third and draws the wild throw from Montero to come home. He's not all about power. He can do other things. You talked about the number of errors, 42 errors for the Cubs. Only Oakland, Texas, and Milwaukee have made more.
More swings and misses. The count now 3-2.
That's a way also, Rich, that you lead a team. How you become a leader. Just doing things like that. You're trailing. Good base running. You're not just going 90 feet, station to station.
Bohr a 3-2 count. Marcell Ozuna, Christian Yelich after him. Swing and a miss, and that pattern, the Cubs working him up. Bohr goes down. There's 2 outs. Here comes Ozuna, and here comes the U.S. Open on Thursday, June 18th. An American tradition coming to Fox and Fox Sports 1. Greatest golfers in the world converge on the Pacific Northwest. The exclusive coverage of the 115th U.S. Open Championship begins June 18th on Fox Sports 1, Fox, and streams live on Fox Sports Go. Hamill misses away. It's 1-0 to Marcell Ozuna. A broken bat single. Going to end up in center field. And it gets Yelich to the plate with 2 outs.
That's also a good approach to that slider that's away that Hamill has stayed with. if you stay back and you keep that front side in and try to hit it up the middle. Good approach by Marcell Ozuna.
Miguel Montero out to talk to Hamill. And now Yelich, who struck out back in the second, arrives at the plate. Hamill giving up his first run. Having a real nice year with the Cubs. They shaved about a run and a half from his career ERA to his ERA coming in. Yelich takes ball one. For Yelich, the strike zone recognition has come back. The ball popping off his bat now. I think if there's one guy that Yelich can see as an example of how to climb the mountain, he was across the diamond this weekend in New York, and that's Daniel Murphy. Murphy was hitting in the 190s when the Marlins last saw him, and then they show up in New York and he's close to 280. Count 2-1.
Mets making a cross-country trip out in San Diego tonight. Jacob deGrom against Andrew Kashner. Good pitching matchup. And Petco.
Nationals were rained out. They were home against the Blue Jays. Rockies and Dodgers almost ready to go. Of course, the Marlins are in Denver on Friday night. Here's a 2-1. Yelich takes up, and it's 3-1. Now, the Marlins certainly have forced Hamill to throw more pitches this inning than he had in any of the innings previous.
Second time around, the Marlins have had a real good approach against Hamill.
See, 23 pitches. Full count, and it gives Ozuna a head start.
The tough part, one of the tough parts, for a hitter that has the ability that Yelich has in knowledge of the strike zone, is when you're down in your batting average, is to take that walk. Because in your mind, you're thinking that's not going to help.
Ozuna on the move, the 3-2. Yelich bangs it into left field. That's a hit. Ozuna turns left on his way to third. Coughlin's throw not nearly in time. And the renaissance of Christian Yelich continues.
But when you see pitches well, when you get to 3-2 counts, you got Ozuna on the move. And there's that beautiful Christian Yelich swing, line drive into left field. It's a play that you don't really need the third base coach because you have it in front of you. You know where the ball is. You know the left fielder's arm. In this case, Coughlin. They know him a little bit better than others. But nicely done by Ozuna.
Chris Bosio arrives, and you see Yelich's hit streak now is at 9 games. Chris Bosio, pitching coach. This is his 4th season as the pitching coach for the Cubs.
So another carryover from the.
Well, actually, he went from Mike Quade to Rick Renteria to Joe Madden. Boz was a fierce competitor.
Yeah, he was.
A Milwaukee Brewer, a Seattle Mariner. Now Real Muto. As the Marlins fell in a 3-0 hole, they've got a run back thanks to Giancarlo Stanton and his base running. At the corners, Real Muto with 2 outs. Check swing, and it is a swing, says Sam Holbrook. So the count's 0-1, and there's that breaking ball that has been troublesome from Hamill. Pitch misses out. And it's a ball and a strike. Rienzo is up.
Saw Rienzo a little bit in Pittsburgh.
Realmuto, called strike. And he turns to Bill Welke, and it was a strike right on the black. Realmuto reacted like it was in.
Yeah, that's when you don't see many pitches in that area, you react that way. And he's, for the most part, stayed away from all the hitters tonight.
See if Hamill snaps off the breaking ball. Yelich is running, a swing and a miss. And the Marlins inning is over. They get a run back on 3 hits, but lead 2. And we go to the 5th. It's 3-1 Cubs. Cap and sweatshirt after so many years in Tampa Bay, and he's watched his pitcher Jason Hamill snap off on Rand-Eye Vision Cam some nasty breaking balls.
Yeah, he has lived with that tonight. Every once in a while he'll throw a two-seamer in, not too often. Every once in a while he'll throw a get me over breaking ball, but when he gets ahead, that's what the scouting report said, he'll try to put you away with that slider. And you're right, he spent some time in Tampa, 3 years there, 3 years with the Rockies, a couple of years with the Orioles. Very experienced pitcher.
Here's Chris Bryant. Ureña's pitch driven to right, Stanton back now in and makes the catch. Had the Marlins inning progressed and a couple more hitters come to the plate, Ureña would not be pitching right now. They had Rienzo up for that very reason. Dan Jennings wanted to pinch hit in that bottom of the 4th.
Well, and this way, a good start here in the 5th. Hopefully you get one more inning, a 5th inning out of Ureña.
Anthony Rizzo.
And a good start, a good breaking ball, good fastball. That's some movement.
Boy, there's a lot to like about Rizzo. I mean, the bat, the leadership, very good around the bag at first. Last year, 32 homers, 28 doubles, slugged well over 500. He's always been a high on base guy. Center field, Ozuna makes the catch. 2 outs. Geico presents a Marlins moment tonight. And our Marlins moment tonight, 1993. Craig Briley becomes the first Marlin to hit 2 home runs in a game as the Marlins beat the Giants and Joe Robbie. His nickname, when I ran into him up in Seattle, was Pee Wee.
There's a trivia question that even the best of Marlins fans would probably not get. It was the first
to hit 2 home runs.
First to hit 2. I mean, I would have gone to Conine. You usually go to the go-to guy.
Or Orestes.
Estrada, yeah, power hitter.
Speaking of power, Jorge Soler has a lot of it. A 23-year-old out of Havana, Cuba, who defected when he was 19 to Haiti. And the Cubs, back in 2012, signed him to a 9-year contract. Not huge money, at least compared to now, but he was somewhat unproven at 19. $30 million for 9 years. Got to the big leagues last year, hitting cleanup this year. Prado's throw is in time. Just got him. Soler can run a little bit as well. That is a 1-2-3 inning. First one for Urena. Top in Miami. Kids eat free on Wednesday, and you know it's a Chevron Crazy 8 ticket day as well. So a lot going on Wednesday. The kids eat free, and if you fill up at Chevron and get $18 Lexus Legends level or $28 home plate box tickets, you're in great. Just bring that receipt to the Marlins Park box office. Donovan Solano for the Fish. Breaking ball. Solano fouls it back. Jose Urena is on deck.
Best inning all night. A 1-2-3 5th inning. Through just 9 pitches.
Well, you can see why Hamill has had success this year with an ERA of under 3. Has such great variety, has that downward plane. Solano pokes it down the line. Soler over, and it's just foul.
Yeah, Hamill, you forget, but you're right with that downward plane. He's 6'6". Hey, look out there. He stands tall, 6'6", 225.
And he's been sharp tonight. 4 innings, 4 hits, a run, and it is earned. Even though Stanton scored on the throwing error, he would have scored on the 2 hits that followed, the Ozuna single and the Yelich single. And as Tommy pointed out, he just flat doesn't walk anybody. I mean, the Marlins have seen in their last 2 starts 2 guys that just don't walk people. There's that motion, the downward plane.
6-6. Here it comes over the top, a little 3/4.
Very repeatable, as the scouts would say, and that's a strikeout.
Which is hard for a guy 6'6".
Yesterday's starter Bartolo Colon didn't walk anybody. He's made 11 starts, and Colon has walked 5 all year. Now you've got Hamill, who has struck out 8, as you see. He hasn't walked anybody tonight. This is his 10th start. He's walked all of 7 people this year.
I'm just looking back. You just struck something. I'm looking back. Go back to Garrett Cole in Pittsburgh. He went 7 innings, didn't walk anybody. Harvey only walked 1 in 8 innings. Jonathan Neese, albeit gave up 4 earned runs, he didn't walk anybody in 4. Then it was Colon, no walks. And here we are with Hamill.
Urania trying to bunt. Counts 1 and 2.
He's at 90 pitches. I would assume he's going to go back out there, given the fact that he's at the plate or back in the dugout now. Another strikeout for Hamill.
There's D. Gordon.
Boy, Hamill with 9 strikeouts.
It's 1 shy of a career high, I believe.
Yeah, career high is 10. He's done that 3 times.
And he struck out 9 his last start, even though he'd lost to Arizona. D. Gordon is lined to center, bounced to first. Hit it hard twice. And even the lefties are having trouble with the breaking ball.
That's more of the curveball as opposed to the slider. That's a pitch we saw the Dodgers throw to D. Gordon a lot.
No balls, 2 strikes. Other teams in the East playing tonight. We talked about the Nationals rained out. Atlanta is in Arizona to take on the Diamondbacks. That game is yet to begin. It's about an hour away from starting. Gordon fights that one off, but he can't get it over the head. And Starling Castro makes a nice catch and holds on. Back to the infield. Castro lays out, makes the catch. And a 1-2-3 inning for Jason Hamill. After 5, it's 3-1 Cubs. Checkers. Get Checkers authentic Philly cheesesteak. Try the new meatball sub. Pick yours. By Subaru of Pembroke Pines. Price, service, selection. You're gonna love us. By Xfinity, your home for the most live sports. And by Plenty. Lots of points, lots of places. One rewards program. In the 6th. Cubs and Marlins for 3. Miguel Montero at the plate. Well, if you get the type of offense they're getting from Montero, if you're the Cubs, you got to be pretty pleased if that keeps up. Always been a really good defensive catcher. He's 4th among National League catchers, on base percentage and in slugging percentage, slugging in the mid 400s.
He had back-to-back years, or years, back-to-back in 11 and 12, where, he averaged like 16, 17 home runs. He averaged 85 RBIs. You get that from a catcher who can play a little defense. That's a nice thing to have.
Fastball from Ureña's up. Montero twice an All-Star, 2011, 2014. Castro and Coughlin around the bend. Counts full, 3-2.
Rich, that ball's similar and close to where we're going to be Wednesday night for the fantasy auction. We'll have to be ready for some foul balls.
The fine folks at Fox Sports Florida refused to let us into their fancy schmanky suite here at Marlins Park.
We find a way, though.
We are not allowed in. We simply are not, except once a year for the Fox Sports Florida fantasy auction. They clear out all the nice furniture and let us bring our TV stuff in. They're nice enough to host us. That's not it. There's just a box of popcorn. That's not schmanky. To left, Yelich is there, and he makes the catch. Yeah, Wednesday night is the Fox Sports Florida fantasy auction. Craig Minervini is the star of the show. And Craig, I know you're busily getting ready for Wednesday night.
Indeed. We're looking forward to that. Couple of games to go, but that's going to be a lot of fun on Wednesday with the Cubs. Attractive matchup, and hopefully we'll raise a lot of money. But I want to talk a little bit about, you mentioned earlier, Justin Bour has got this streak going of homers in 3 straight games, which is in the company of Charles Johnson and Derek Lee and Hanley Ramirez and Giancarlo a couple of times. But the all-time record in Marlins history for homers by a rookie, consecutive games, is 4. And it's held by Kurt Abbott, who had a nice career here and still lives in South Florida. He was at the game. We saw him around the batting cage about a week or so ago. Kurt had a nice little run here. He played in the majors from 93 to 2001. A couple of World Series. A lot of games with the Marlins. Hit 40 home runs here and was a double shy of the cycle for the Marlins when he knocked in 6 against Houston in July of 96. And he now runs the Major League Players Academy in Stuart, Florida. I talked with him today. I said, do you remember? He said, sure, I do remember. I don't remember the first 3 who they were off, but I remember that 4th one. I hooked it down the left field line at home and hit those metal bleachers. And I think it was off Andy Ashby of the San Diego Padres. 4 straight games. That is also the overall record in Marlins history for home runs, but that's a record I don't think many people would have expected to be owned by Kurt Abbott in Marlins lore, guys.
Kurt Abbott is fun to watch. He had some pop as a shortstop, middle infielder. He gave you that home run power. It was exciting to watch.
Chris Coughlin right now for the Cubs. Justin Bour And Miami down a couple runs. Ground ball to Gordon. Gets the out at first. And
Really
Jose,
nice job.
Yeah. Jose Urena, after giving up 2 early runs, gets through 6. By one of those tentacles.
Yeah, the tentacles can kind of screen you out. A little advantage there.
They got to run Julio through the car wash, don't they? I mean, look at, he's taken a few spills, and the dome is a little.
I thought Julio was down by the schoolyard.
Oh, there you go. You've waited 4 years for that. And that's what you got. Here's Prado, and Prado takes a fastball for a strike. Giancarlo Stanton and Justin Bour. Jason Hamill has been able to spot that fastball on the inside part against right-handed hitters and then come back with that sweeping breaking ball and get strikes.
But I think the ball club has to be totally pleased with the 6 innings from Jose Urena. Bullpen gets busy for the Cubs.
Prado down that right field line again. This time Soler gets it. That's where Prado went for a double back in the first.
After the first couple of innings, I don't think Dan Jennings, maybe even Chuck, felt that Urena would give them 6, give up just the 3 runs. A really nice job by the 23-year-old. Urena on the night threw 103 pitches.
All right, here's Stanton. He struck out chasing a slider in the first and then laced a fastball into right for a hit his next time up. And Hamill misses in. It's 1-0. Outfield deep, especially in right, Soler. Two and 1. Justin Bour on deck. Stanton pops that one up first base side, and it's out of play. You look at the league leaders. Stanton with his 15 homers, 3 off the pace of Bryce Harper. He has 1 more run driven in than Harper to lead the National League at 44. And yet he has said over the last 2 or 3 weeks he still doesn't feel comfortable. Pitch is up, and
If I'm a pitcher in the National League reading that.
Well, remember, he hit 288 last year with 37 homers. He's at 230 right now.
Oh.
And that is foul.
Ooh.
Wow. Stanton thought it was fair.
Wow.
John Hirschbeck, the third base umpire, called it foul.
Well, he was trying to get out of the way as he made the call.
That's really close. Remember, it doesn't have to land fair. If it goes over the bag in fair territory, it's close. That's a really tough call for an umpire, too, isn't it? Stanton fouls that back to the screen.
John Hirschbeck, very good veteran umpire. He is the crew chief of this umpiring crew.
3-2. Swing and a miss. Chase that breaking ball. There are 2 outs. And here comes Bohr.
So strikeout number 10. That ties the career high. There's that slider. Tight spin. You see the little dot that usually tells you slider. And once again, he gets Giancarlo to chase it. All 10 strikeouts, Rich, have been swinging.
So he ties his career high. Now he's punched out Justin Bohr twice. And as you pointed out, this is one of the things Bohr has to fight against, is trying to do too much against an organization that he came up with and never brought him to the big leagues.
Yeah, it's tough not to do.
Hamill hoping he'd go after that breaking ball in the dirt. So Hamill has struck out 10. Marlins Park, first of 3. Miami and the Cubs. Bohr swings and misses and strikes out. A career high 11 strikeouts for 32-year-old Jason Hamill. home in Miami, only for 3 games. Marlins Park, Marlins Cubs. And so far, the Cubs took an early lead, have held that lead, have a 3-1 advantage. I like the music. First pitch swing, Jason Hamill pops one out to D. Gordon. Marlins have a new pitcher, Vin Mazzaro, who has pitched quite well in his 3 appearances.
Yeah, he has, and it's nice to have a guy who's got a little experience. Mazzaro does. 4 2/3 in his 3 outings. No runs. Opponent's hitting a $188.
Addison Russell's been in the 9 spot and been on twice. Hit by a pitch in the 2nd inning. Singled in the 4th. Some think he's the shortstop of the future in Chicago, which means that the other shortstop of the future, Starlin Castro, in the future won't be either at shortstop or in Chicago.
I think it's more than some think that for Addison Russell.
Generalizing here. Yeah, the future's pretty bright. And it's one of the things that teams, you brought this up with catchers and such in the center. Teams love to stockpile shortstops. They're so versatile, they can play anywhere. All right, season tickets. Marlins Park. There's a variety of new season ticket packages this year. Prorated full season, half season, 20-game mini plans, and the new 10-game pack. Plans start just $240. Secure your seats today. 1-877 Marlins. Go to marlins.com/2015 tickets. Dexter Fowler, top of the order. Mazzaro, a fastball that's fouled off. Counts 1 ball, 1 strike. Not a lot of hits in this one. Cubs pen is active. Right-hander down in the Cubs pen, Justin Grimm. Pronounced Mazzaro.
I know we had some questions. We've had questions even before the start tonight of Jose Urena. Of Urena or Urena. And we have been told, because we like to ask, Urena. Now you don't see the tilde above the N, but we're told the pronunciation for Jose is Urena. We have sources.
We called Matt Diaz. Breaking ball misses in. Matt Diaz, the former Brave, who pronounces his name Diaz. We constantly got emails and tweets and phone calls saying you're mispronouncing the poor kid's name. It should be Diaz. To the point where we actually got Diaz to record an apology on behalf of his family for pronouncing it Diaz. He would be a Marlin briefly, but we knew him as an Atlanta Brave and a guy that really hurt the Marlins when he was a Brave.
I've actually heard Matt Diaz, who's trying to get a little bit into the broadcasting business, on XM radio on a few shows.
Fox Sports South has also utilized his broadcasting skills. Here's Chris Bryant, who's 0 for 2. He's walked and scored. Fowler looks like he's itching to go at first.
You would think so, with a 3-1 ball game and 2 outs, and Fowler, who leads their club with 11 steals.
That one rolls away from Justin Bour, not far enough. Dexter Fowler, the runner at first. Vin Mazzaro in relief of Jose Urena. Fowler increases the lead, not running, and Bryant pumps it into the seats foul. The count 0-1. A really interesting start for Bryant. Remember, he arrived with much fanfare, including a police escort from the airport to Wrigley Field. In his first 73 at bats, he didn't hit a home run. In his next 73 at bats, he hit 7. And a couple other things that really stand out, you don't often see with a rookie with this kind of power, is the walks. 27 walks. This is game number 41. He sees a ton of pitches.
That's the amazing thing.
He's
mentioned
fourth.
Earlier.
Yeah, he's fourth in the National League. 4.27 pitches per plate appearance.
You mentioned about the Cubs as a team see a lot of pitches, which kind of goes against their youth.
Fowler is running. 2-1 is hammered to left and deep. It's hooking. And it's off the wall. Fowler to third. Yelich picks it off the warning track. And Bryant has an RBI double. And now in game number 41, he's driven in 33.
Don't know if Fowler scores if he's not running on this. Comes back inside, and the youngster with a solid swing. Kind of had top spin, so he hooked it into that corner, but because Fowler was on the move, he was able to score easily. Gives the Cubs their 4th run.
First run of the year given up by Vin Mazzaro in his 4th appearance. And here is Rizzo.
2-out run, too. The frustrating part, another walk. 3 of the 4 runs were walks. Have come around to score.
A ball and a strike. Cubs open play, 4 over, 6 back in the Central behind the Cardinals. Liner right at the shortstop, Donovan Solano. Marlins had the shift on. And Rizzo hit the open man. But the Cubs add a run and lead it 4-1. In Miami, AT&T Rewind, brought to you by AT&T Uverse. Let's bring it back. Anthony Rizzo, 2013. Wade LeBlanc beat Anthony Rizzo, including upper tank. 2 homers that game for the Parkland native. Breaking ball misses down low. By the way, Tommy Hutton, on Wednesday, fantasy auction. If you are a Cubs fan, we've got something for you.
Oh, that's some good stuff
as well. There's Marcell Ozuna, and he swings and misses. What we've got for you is an Anthony Rizzo jersey. As well, John Lester signed jersey. High chopper to short. Backing up is Castro, and there's Rizzo with that nice glove. Picks a low throw as well. So you got a pair of Cubs jerseys that are autographed by 2 really good ones. You've got Tommy Bahama Cubs stuff. Some quarter zip sweatshirts and a couple of Tommy Bahama camp shirts that are Chicago Cub camp shirts.
And you mentioned John Lester. He'll be pitching for the Cubs Wednesday against Dan Herron.
Well, what a night for Jason Hamill. A career high 11 strikeouts. Breaking ball into Yelich, and it's 1-1. Yelich is singled, and he has struck out. 9-game hit streak now for Miami's left fielder.
I still think the amazing thing about these 2 teams matching up over the years, coming into this game, Cubs have won 86, the Marlins have won 86 and 86.
It does not reflect postseason play.
Does not count postseason.
Miami has a 1-game advantage in that.
The Marlins are 45 and 45 at Wrigley, and the Cubs are 41 and 41 here in Florida.
That's crazy. Yelich bouncer up the middle, and it's booted by Castro. Had a bit of an odd spin off the bat. Castro couldn't gather it in. Yelich is aboard. Here comes Real Muto.
Now, we talked about the errors. This is number 12 for Starlin Castro. .43 errors now for the team.
Came up, got him on the forearm.
Well, the Cubs have taken advantage of walks. Marlins need to see if they can take advantage of an error. They did so back in the 4th inning when Giancarlo stole third, came home on the throwing error of Montero.
Hamels at 109 pitches. So if there's any more action on the bases, unlikely that he finishes this inning, you would expect. This is just for Hamill. He threw 105 his last time out. 107 was his season high, so he's got a season high in pitches, a career high in strikeouts.
I think it gets a little confusing when he matches up against Cole Hamels.
Yeah, I think so. It's not as bad as the 2 Chris Youngs who would face each other, the tall pitcher and the speedy center fielder. Or, as we pointed out, Kyle Kendrick of the Rockies. I can't wait for that matchup when he faces Kyle Hendricks. Kyle Hendricks starts tomorrow for the Cubs against Brad Hand. Real Muto. Hamill peeks over at Yelich at first base. It's amazing. You look at the Cubs. We talked about the trade, especially with Addison Russell having a nice night. Cubs with Oakland desperate, or at the time adamant that they had to add starting pitching. Of course, the A's would end up getting both Hamill and Jeff Samardzija from Chicago. Real Muto, a slow tapper out towards second. Russell gets it out, and that's it. Yelich gets a piece of Castro on the slide.
Yeah, the ball really wasn't hit hard enough to be a double play, but Russell with the quick flip at least gets one. No chance for Castro. Talked about his error, his 12th error of the year for Starlin Castro. The Marlins infield, the entire infield has made 12 errors this year.
And of course, Oakland went even further all in after starting pitching when they acquired John Lester from Boston. That cost them a pretty good outfielder, and Yoenis Cespedes, a big part of their order. And so who's pitching for the Cubs this year? Well, Hamill starts tonight, and Lester starts in Game 3. Ichiro on deck. Of course, the Cubs much improved from last year, a season in which they won 73 games. And the amazing thing was 73 and 89. That was their best record since 2010. Rick Renteria, everyone felt, did a really nice job last year, and he was unfortunately the victim of the loophole in Joe Maddon's contract in St. Pete.
Now the Cubs promptly jumped on that.
Have you read your contract to see if there's such a loophole?
Yeah, but they're all on the other side. They're all for the other team.
Hamill at a season high 116 pitches. 1-2 to Donovan Solano. Little flare into center field. It's going to fall for a hit. It's picked up there by Fowler. With Real Muto racing to third. Donovan Solano gets a hit, and now let's see if the Cubs stick with Hamill as he's approaching 120 pitches, and Ichiro has come to the plate.
Well, there's a lot more room in this outfield than at Wrigley Field. Of course, Dexter Fowler's used to it somewhat. He controlled Coors Field for a number of years. A lot of room out there. The ball dropped in front of him. It allowed Real Muto to get over to third. You got a feeling that's going to be all for Hamill. Left-hander warming up. So with Ichiro announced, James Russell is going to come in and pitch.
Kendall Toyota called to the bullpen. 4-1 Cubs. Number 4. punches out a career-high 11. And he goes as deep as he can go. 117 pitches, a season high. And it's James Russell out of the pen. What a nice weapon to have in Russell. And Joe Madden will use it now with Ichiro getting a pinch hitting appearance and runners at the corners. Cubs holding a 3-run lead in the bottom of the 7th.
We've talked about it too for a few days. Dan Jennings working with a 4-man bench, extra man in the bullpen. So Ichiro, then Echeverria, Jonathan Solano, Jeff Baker.
Ichiro has hit lefties quite well this year. And a fastball up and in. Look, he's hit righties and he's hit lefties quite well his whole career. But look at this splits against lefties. And that's 26 at bats worth.
Yeah, the home run against Alex Torres of the Mets.
Ichiro fouls it back. And they count 1 ball and 1 strike.
Yeah, the 117 pitches for Hamill. That ties the second most ever in his career. His high just won away, 118. Against the Dodgers in 09.
Ichiro a base hit yesterday, 2,877. And he shoots that ground ball out to second. An easy play for Russell, who gets the out. Miami leaves 2 more. James Russell comes in. Jason Hamill heads to the locker room. And the Cubs still lead it 4-1.
Well, in the first inning, the Cubs jumped on Jose Urena quickly. A double by Anthony Rizzo gave them their first run. And a ground ball out by Jorge Soler produced another. Just like that, it was 2-0 Chicago. In the 4th inning, they were able to get another run. RBI base hit by the youngster Addison Russell. The Marlins got one back, though, on some great base running. Base hit by Stanton. Went over to third base on a stolen base. Error. Chris Bryant gives the Cubs their 4th run. So the Marlins only scored once. That's the way it stands. 4-1 Chicago.
H.H. Greg high-def highlights. Brian Morris out of Miami's pen in the 8th. Jorge Soler, Miguel Montero, Starling, Castro. Cubs, Marlins, first game. 3-game series. This is like a pit stop series is what they should call it. Wow, that was smoked. And Gordon on a knee to get it. And get Jorge Soler. We check in with Craig Minervini.
Hey guys, Donovan Solano starting for Adeiny Echeverria, who is getting much better. I asked infield coach Perry Hill, though, what he likes about his utility infielder.
I've always loved Donnie, and he's one of my favorites because, you may never go, wow, look at that, but you never say, what the heck is he doing? And those are the kind of guys you want.
Mm-hmm. And he with the bat too, he comes through when he gets a start.
He puts a good at bat on every pitcher. He hits the closers. He hits everybody. He gives you a good at bat.
Solano only had 3 starts last year at shortstop. This tonight his 3rd start. There's some good news though. Echeverria looking much better today, working out in the infield. And Dan Jennings expects him most likely to be back in the starting lineup. But it's nice to be able to pull Solano out. And here he is right here at shortstop to make a play for you or get a big hit. Guys?
Well, that was really good, Craig. You timed that just right.
Yeah.
You finished your story. Usually you put a nice little bow on it with, a statement or a quote, but hey, Solano did it for you.
And when he made that play, we didn't say, gee, what is he doing?
I was glad he didn't throw it into the 3rd row.
What is he doing?
Yeah, he's a solid player.
Brian Morris has a pair of ground ball outs to open up the 8th. Starlin Castro swings and misses. Toyota Trend magically appears. He's 25, 2 months, 8 days, and he's 2 hits shy of 900. He could be the youngest Cub since Ron Santo in 1965 to get there to the 900 hits.
Well, it's amazing with all the at bats, and we talked about number one, he plays most every game, doesn't walk very much. Had 207 hits in 2011.
Castro gets into that one and hits it a mile to left and deep and out. Starlin Castro blasts one over the Clevelander, and the Cubs have a 5-1 lead.
Well, you see the slider, you don't see that tight spin. It kind of hung, backed up to Castro, and boy, he crushed it.
It's a good thing Brian McCann isn't here, right? He may have taken a little umbrage in the length of time it took to get around the bases. Chris Coughlin sends one into center field for a base hit. For Castro, his 4th.
That's certainly borderline. He may be putting on a little show for a guy who works with a lot of the Cubs hitters in the minor leagues, and he's here in uniform, Manny Ramirez.
Mike Baxter is up. So Castro probably feels a lot better after that error. Blasting one into the seats. Baxter.
Yeah, we've seen Baxter a little bit, so I'm with the Mets. Actually drafted by the Cubs, or by the Padres.
It was Baxter who had that great catch to seal Johan Santana's no-hitter, the only no-hitter in Mets history, right? That one into left. Yelich picks it up. Coughlin's not stopping. And Baxter for the base hit. And so the Cubs teeing off right now on Brian Morris a bit.
Frustrating. We just didn't see many outings like this from Brian Morris last year. And I think when you see his struggles, you see pitches up. We saw the slider up to Castro. But for Brian Morris, about 25 innings, he's given up 37 base hits.
Here's Russell. it's a strike. For a relief pitcher like Morris, when you hit a rough patch, it's really hard to iron it out and work it out. As a starting pitcher, you have a bad outing. Say you have an inning or two where you get knocked around. The next 5 days, you're going to get another 7 or 8 innings if you're able to get that.
And you're going to have plenty of time in between to work on some things.
Amen.
Yeah, we've talked about that with Steve Cishek as well.
That one fouled out of play. Just to tie it together, we were talking about 117 pitches thrown by Jason Hamill. Baxter saved the day for the Santana no-hitter. Santana threw 134 pitches in that no-hitter. Pitch a swing and a miss. And Russell is thrown out, and the inning is over. But the Cubs get another run. Starling Castro hits his 4th. It's 5-1 Cubs.
You can get an autographed ball by me, so hurry up and get them.
Pledge packs right now, you can get them both online and over the phone. Marlins.com/pledgepack singular. 305-480-2550. 305-480-2550. Online gives you full detail on what you get. And with the phone number, you have an operator standing by. They can answer any questions you've got about the fantasy auction or the pledge packs. Now, I'm announcing the game, right? It's what I do for a living. As Pedro Strofe is in. My partner, Tommy Hutton, right now is busily working the iPad and
efforting right now,
making his annual purchase.
Which it hasn't taken me that long.
Gordon on a hop. That one knocked down by Addison Russell. See, this is our normal on-camera position for the booth camera right here. Usually I'm looking here, Tommy's sitting here talking to you in our living room. But look at it right there. Isn't that something? That's huh? Technology at its best.
At its best.
It's a, it used to, the first time we did this, I
don't want to pull the credit card out right now because,
people might see, but
yeah.
The first year we did this, it took probably 10-15 minutes to get him technologically up to speed.
I've come a long way.
Yeah. How you doing over there?
I'm doing all right. I'm ready for the credit card here. I'm ready to go to the wallet here.
It's all for the kids, by the way. $150 donation. Prado rolls one up the middle, and he's got himself a base hit, an infield hit.
All right, just a quick look. I won't show you the number.
He's got the venture card. You and Alec Baldwin, right?
Double points. It's all for the kids, though.
It is all for the kids. You're right about that. Here's Stanton now.
But it's easy to do.
Giancarlo Stanton. And there aren't that many left. If you're thinking about buying, tonight's the night. There might not be any left by tomorrow morning. That's why Tommy, here in the 8th inning.
So you encouraged me. I was going to wait for tomorrow. I was going to do it tomorrow morning.
I think we are down to about 40 left, maybe 30 left. And that D. Gordon ball, leading vote getter at second base, National League All-Star team, leading hitter in the major leagues. It's authenticated, which means you have that major league hologram on it. Stanton chops it to third. Bryant gets one there. Russell's turn is on the money, and the Cubs get 2 here in the 8th. Pedro stroke, and the Cubs a 5-1 lead. Your South Florida Honda dealers. By Florida Coast Equipment, Florida's largest Kubota dealer. Visit us at FloridaCoastEQ.com. In Miami tonight at Marlins Park, the Cubs impressively a 5-1 lead. As advertised, young and aggressive and dangerous are the Cubs. Dexter Fowler, Chris Bryant, Anthony Rizzo. And the young guns have all kind of had their share of doing damage here. Chris Bryant, RBI double. Anthony Rizzo, RBI double. Starlin Castro, solo homer. Addison Russell, RBI single. Jorge Soler is 0 for 4. He does have an RBI.
Yeah, Montero's been quiet, but you know, they've constructed a lineup that is not going to be dependent on just one guy. They have, I mean, Rizzo's their key guy, and Chris Bryant, as he gets experience, is going to be a key guy. But they have some really good complementary parts, good players.
Strike from Morris. Second inning for Morris. He gave up the 2-out homer to Castro. And then back-to-back singles by Chris Coghlan and Brian Baxter. Swing and a miss. Down goes Fowler. Marlins Live is brought to you by Checkers when it's after the game. And you know what? After the game is coming up with Craig Minervini and Jeff Conine. Jason Hamill, a career high in strikeouts. He punched out 11. Bryant up. He's also walked and scored. Former starter in that Cubs pen, Travis Wood. Pitch misses away. They've also, in that Cubs bullpen, have another guy that you know more as a starter than a reliever, and that's Edwin Jackson.
With Wood in the bullpen, it's cut into his opportunities to pinch hit.
That's true. Hector Rondon is the closer. Doesn't look too worried or like he's thinking about coming in. It's a 4-run lead right now. Brian, a big swing and a miss.
You know, when you see Brian Morris throw sliders the way he did to Fowler and there to Chris Bryant, you know he's not far away from getting consistency. See the difference in the spin? Remember the one that Castro hit? Kind of floated. You really couldn't see much. That one had some good tight spin. So did the one to Fowler.
So a nice comeback inning for Brian Morris. And here's Anthony Rizzo. Braves are underway out in Arizona, scoreless in the first. Dodgers have the first 2 runs of the game. It's bottom 4. Dodgers on top of the Rockies 2-0.
It's a Clayton Kershaw start.
Rizzo, a big swing and a miss. 2 games postponed, both in the Northeast. Toronto at Washington, Minnesota at Boston. Who would have thought Boston would be 22-29 and Minnesota would be 30-19.
Wow, what a job they've done. Hats off to Paul Molitor. The job he's done.
Nice job by Morris. Picked it up, fires to first, and a 1-2-3 ninth for Brian Morris. 5-1 Cubs. We head to the bottom of the ninth in Miami. Travis Wood is in MLB.com ballpark app. Perfect complement for your visit to Marlins Park or any Major League ballpark. You get maps of the ballpark menus. You can order food from your seats, access and display your game tickets as well. Check in with the ballpark app and receive special offers and gifts. MLB.com ballpark app. Well, here is the aforementioned Travis Wood.
Well, you see the numbers. He had 7 starts on the year, but unsuccessful. Good strikeout to walk ratio. But Travis Wood, a guy who does give Joe Madden insurance down in the bullpen. He gives him a lefty, number one, but he gives him a guy if a start down the road is needed. He knows he can go to him for that.
Justin Bour scheduled, but it's Jeff Baker who gets the pinch hit appearance. Baker homered up in New York on Saturday afternoon, and he narrowly missed a big extra base hit in the 8th inning last night. Baker lashes that one foul. Marlins were down a run and a couple runners on, and Baker hit a liner into that right field corner. Curtis Granderson and the ball disappeared into the corner, and it was fouled by about 4 feet.
Jeff Baker hit a lot of line drives on the road trip.
0-2. Wood comes in. Danny Echeverria getting the night off. Marlins hopeful that he's in the lineup tomorrow night. I suspect he is hopeful as well. A couple of inside fastballs. Baker doesn't bite. Hector Rondon is up. The way he's playing this year, whenever Echeverria is out of the lineup, you feel like you miss his glove. Well, this year you're also missing his bat.
Yeah, Echeverria has stayed steady. He stayed around that 300 mark. He's right at 300 as he watches on now.
Baker takes in. It's 3-2.
Good at bat by the veteran Jeff Baker.
Swing and a miss, and he strikes out. So Wood gets the first out. And here is Ozuna. Later tonight, Mets and Padres. That's a Jacob deGrom, Andrew Cashner matchup. Andrew Cashner was a Cub, now a Padre. The trade that the Cubs got Anthony Rizzo. .6:30 start. Marlins live. Kyle Hendricks will be on the mound for the Cubs. Brad Hand will start for Miami.
Look at that, a lot of no decisions for Hendricks. Tell you one thing, Travis Wood not afraid to go inside with his fastball.
Started the year in the rotation. Getting used to pitching on consecutive days. He pitched yesterday in the win over the Royals.
And Joe Madden in that 11-inning game used 7 pitchers out of the bullpen.
Right field line, Soler on the track makes the catch. Miami's down to their last out. here on this Monday night. Here comes Yelich. Giancarlo Stanton scoring the only run. That was back in the 4th. And he pretty much did it all by himself. He singled, moved up on a wild pitch, stole third, scored on a throwing error.
Little known statistic, Giancarlo 3 for 3 in his career, stealing third.
That is a little known statistic.
We're here to help. We're here to inform.
See, in the old days, baseball cards wouldn't give you that. It's home runs, RBIs, games played. Now you get the virtual baseball cards, baseballreference.com. You could find stuff like that. Yelich got a piece. Counts 2-2. (5-1) Cubs lead. 2 outs, 2-2 to Yelich. It's down low. Travis Wood trying to finish it for the Cubs.
Yelich has done what he does best. He's seen a lot of pitches tonight. You mentioned he picked up a base hit to extend his hitting streak to 9.
Fights that one off. This was a Jason Hamill start. He would strike out a career high 11 and throw 117 pitches for Joe Madden and Davey Martinez. That pitch is out. And Yelich is on his way to first base. JT Realmuto coming up. You're talking about Andy Barquette and the fact that he would make a good manager. Davey Martinez, to me, has been a guy that it just puzzles me how he's not managing the big leagues somewhere.
He has interviewed numerous times for different positions. Many thought that he would remain and be the manager of the Rays.
Yelich is running and there's no throw down. Well, the Rays, I think, wanted just a total change.
They wanted
to change.
They wanted to change.
And if he's good enough for Joe Madden, you would think he'd be good enough for somebody.
And you would have to think Kevin Cash has done a pretty good job with the Rays so far this year. Yeah,
without question. Now Realmuto. The Cubs would rather stop right here at Travis Wood. They'd rather not bring Hector Rondon into the ballgame. And he's heated up and ready if needed.
That's the part of relief pitchers. Certainly clubs keep track of the number of times a pitcher gets up, and if he gets up and gets ready, that's one thing. He could get up and maybe throw 10 or 15 pitches, not get ready.
Two balls, 2 strikes, and 2 outs. cutter runs in, and it's 3-2.
Back-to-back hitters, full counts. Look at that, 24 pitches for Travis Wood.
Realmuto stays alive. Count stays at 3-2. Tomorrow night and Wednesday night, and then the Marlins fly west on Thursday out to Denver, 3 in Colorado. And of course, it makes perfect sense that after the Marlins are in Colorado, they play in Toronto.
Little zigzag. Speaking of Colorado, the hot-hitting Nolan Arenado hit a 2-run homer against Kershaw. That's a 2-2 game now in Denver.
It's 13 home runs for Arenado. He's driven in 37. Someone say all-star team? And he's the best fielding third baseman
yes, he is.
In the game. Dodgers, a pair of home runs. Andre Ethier and Jimmy Rollins. Got him. Straight fastball at 92, and the Cubs win. Starlin Castro a home run. Joe Madden, and the Cubs stay on a nice roll. They're at 27-22 now, trying to pick up some ground on the St. Louis Cardinals. And they do it tonight behind an outstanding effort from their starting pitcher. Jason Hamill goes to 4-2, strikes out a career high 11. More numbers, more pictures, and some great commentary on Marlins Live.